Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elmo, and today I'm going to be talking about my Game Week 1 team selection. Before we get into that, this is not the final team, so don't take it seriously. I might still make some changes before the deadline, but so far this is the concept I have, and this is the concept I'll be going for. So, first of all, thank you all for the support on the channel. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the support on my TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram as well. So if you haven't followed me on those channels, links are down in the description. So go check that out. And of course, here on YouTube, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any content that goes up on the channel. Without wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So first, yeah, before we get into it, these are the league codes for the leagues I've created for myself. The Classic League, I mean, it's approaching 300 players at the moment, trying to hit 500 players. So make sure you go join up. The head-to-head league, it's a little bit hit or miss. Not everyone is keen on it, but if you're keen on playing a head-to-head league, the code is also there, and the links are down in the description as well. So make sure you go join up, compete with people from the community. So yeah, now let's look at the actual team. So this is the actual team I've gone for. We're going to be having Everson in goal, partnered up with Emi Martinez from Aston Villa. The reason I've gone for Everson is a 4 million goalkeeper, but he's actually the starter for Leicester, if I'm not wrong. Last season in the Championship, he played almost every match, so I just think he's going to be the starter over Joel Ward, who I think is still there. I'm not so sure, but I think Everson is going to be the starter. Then we have Emi Martinez. Then I'm going for Emi Martinez. I know 5 million goalkeepers are not really the top picks for most FPL managers, but I think Aston Villa have one of the easiest fixtures on paper. So if you haven't seen the video I did for the easiest fixtures, I'm going to put the link somewhere on the video. So make sure you check that out as well to see some of the best fixtures. So I just think Aston Villa have the best fixtures, and Martinez usually comes up with a lot of save points, and of course he has the prize of saving penalties as well. So I think that's an added bonus, and that's why I've gone for him. Then you have Pedro Porro in there at 5.5 million. I just think it's better going for Pedro Porro instead of, as you can see, my other consideration, Saliba. Although Saliba guarantees you clean sheet, I just think Pedro Porro is more exciting in FPL because he can give you some assists here and there, and is 0.5 cheaper than Saliba. Of course, they signed Solanke, who's very good in the air. So they expect a lot of crosses from the likes of Pedro Porro and also Udogi on the other side. But Udogi had surgery last season, so we don't know how he is at the moment. But I think Pedro Porro is a very decent option for that defense. Then we have Trent in there at 7 million. Trent, I think, is a must-have in everyone's FPL team. I think is going to be very good. Of course, you could argue for Van Dijk, who offers a little bit of aerial threat. Robertson, not so keen as he's injured most in and out. I've also seen a lot of people talking about Kwanzaa, who I think is going to be the starting. I think it's a very good option as well at 4 million. But Kwanzaa only offers you clean sheets, and mostly I think he scored last season from a corner as well. I just think if you're going for the Liverpool defense is either Trent or Van Dijk, and at the moment I've gone for Trent just because of the attacking returns and the way he booms forward as well. I think it's a very decent option. Then we have Guardiola in there at 6 million. If you watch the Community Shield against Manchester United, you could have seen the way Guardiola was booming up the left back position. He was going forward. He was making attacking runs. He also tried to give out an assist. So I think Guardiola is a very decent option. I think he's going to play a lot of matches this season. Of course, the problem with Pep, you never know who is going to start. But I think Guardiola at left back, I think, is going to be a little bit more nailed on in that position. Then the other defender I've gone for is Livramento. I think at the 4.5 million defenders range is really up to who suits you better. I've seen Livramento, I've seen Lewis Hall, I've seen I've seen Dunk, I've seen Robinson from Fulham, but I've gone for, I think for me it's either Livramento or Lewis Hall. At the moment, I think Livramento is going to be a little bit more nailed on at left back position because I don't think Dan Burn is going to be playing a lot of fixtures this season because you saw last season the way he was being destroyed because of lack of pace down the wing and no attacking threat down the wing as well. So I just think Clement is going to play a lot of games. With Lewis Hall, we all know that Trippier is going to be, although they arrived late to training, but once he picks up his form, he's going to be straight back into the team. So I just think Clement is a little bit more guaranteed. Then I've gone for Barco from Brighton, finishing off the team at 4 million. Slight concerns if Brighton sign Kadioglu. I think Barco is going to be benched. But for now, I've gone for Barco in there and hope he's going to be able to perform. And of course, he's just 4 million. He's a cheap enabler who is going to be having some minutes here and there for Brighton. As I've mentioned, the other consideration, Saliba. The only problem with Saliba, I don't want to go Gvardiol, Saliba, and Trent because that is a little bit more defensive rather than going for the attacking players. That's why I think Poro is just a slightly better option, but I also think Saliba is also a very good option. So that's the defense. Now let's look at the midfield. So for the midfield, I've made some changes from the first draft. If you watch that video, I've decided to go without Salah, and actually it has opened some more options in the team. It allowed me to spread some funds here and there. So I've gone for Saka instead. I had Odegaard before, but I just think Saka offers you a little bit more. He's the main man for Arsenal, of course. He's on penalties as well, and he's also on corners. I think on the right side as well because Declan Rice is on the left side. That's why I've gone for Saka in there. And if you watch Arsenal most of the times, they usually have the attacking threat down the right because of course because of Saka that were on the right side. That's why I've gone for him in there, and Oban is going to be able to have a wonderful season. Then I've gone for Jota in there at 7.5 million. The problem with Jota is also very injury prone. He picks up these small injuries during the season. I just think there's no big difference between Jota and Salah in terms of FPL. But Salah, the only thing Salah edges over is because he has penalties on his side. But Liverpool play on both sides, both the left and the right. And I don't know where Jota is going to play. What I think is going to play down the middle. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. So I've gone for Jota in there. Hope he's going to play and hope he's going to have an injury-free season. Hope he's going to perform as well, and maybe outscore Salah as well. Then we have Gordon at 7.5 million. As I mentioned in my last video, I had Gordon almost the whole of last season, and I'm going to have him this season, provided he's going to be able to perform. 7.5 million, I don't think it's a bad price, and Newcastle also have very good fixtures in their first 5 game weeks. So I think it's a no-brainer to go for him. He also came back late from pre-season. I mean, not from from the Euros and pre-season, of course. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know whether he's going to start or not, but I think he's going to start. I think I hope he's going to be able to perform. We saw him in his cameo in their last pre-season fixture. He looked very good, provided an assist for Isaac. So I think it's going to be good. I hope he's going to be able to perform and are going to have a very good campaign with Newcastle as well. Then the other player I've gone for there is Rogers from Aston Villa, who at 5 million I think is a bargain because he had a very good preseason. He's been playing very well ahead of the likes of Leon Bailey in there. So I think he's going to have a very good. I hope he's going to have a good season. I hope he's going to play a lot of fixtures. I think at 5 million he might be the this season's Cole Palmer because I remember Cole Palmer last season was very cheap. So Rogers might have that same status in the FPL this season. I know he's going to have a good season because he's a young lad. And as I've mentioned for Martinez, Aston Villa have one of the easiest fixtures on paper for their first 5. So that's why I've gone for him in there and hope that he's going to be able to perform. Then the last player in the midfield is Harry Winks at 4.5 million. Well, I think he's a steal. He's going to be like Andreas Pereira from, like, I think, 3 seasons ago, where he's a 4.5 midfielder who plays every single minute. So that when there's a crisis in your team, at least you have someone in there who can be able to perform for you. And finishing, so my other consideration, of course, is Mo Salah. I think trying to fit Salah in the team is very, very possible. I think at the moment I'm 80-20, 80-20 to no, and 20 to yes, in trying to fit Salah into the team. So for now, I think I'm not so sure. So I'm going to have to think about it, make some more drafts to see what's going to happen. And yeah, but for now, I don't have Salah in the team, and I hope it is not going to backfire on me. So that's the midfield. Now let's look at the forwards. Then now we can look at the forwards. Of course, I'm going to be having Erling Haaland in there, no matter what. Even if he was 20 million, Haaland has to be in the team, has to be in everyone's team. I think he's going to have an outstanding season of as well. I think he's going to be the top scorer again for the third season in a row. I think you have to have Haaland in your team. That Man City team, especially now with Kevin De Bruyne staying, him looking fit compared to other seasons, not starting the season. I think Haaland is going to have a wonderful season, and I think he's going to be the top scorer. That's why I've gone for him in there. Then we have Isaac, who has looked very sharp in preseason. He's had a long rest since he didn't have anything to do during the summer. So he's looked really sharp during preseason, and also that's why I've gone for him. And also their fixtures look really, really, really good. I just think Newcastle are going to have a good season as well. And that's why I've gone for Isaac in there. I hope that he's going to perform. And then the player finishing off the team is going to be Chris Wood. I also think Nottingham Forest have one of the easiest fixtures on paper. I know people, they're the likes of Joao Pedro, but I just don't like the fixtures of Brighton in their first five. So that's why I've opted to go for Chris Wood in there. Not that he's going to be able to perform and able to replicate his form towards the end of last season when I was banging in goals for fun. And that's how he's going to be able to perform. The problem it's Nottingham Forest. Don't know what to expect from them, but they made some couple of good signings. They looked very good in pre-season, beating Premier League teams. But of course, it's pre-season, but he looked really good, and I was going to be able to perform. Then my other consideration, as you can see, is Solanke at 7.5 million. Of course, now at Spurs, I think 7.5 million striker at Spurs with the likes of Poro, Udogi, Son, Kulusevski, who like to whip the ball inside the box with now an aerial presence in there in Solanke. I think it's a very good option at 7.5 million. So that's someone I'm considering for going to go for. And if I do that, I think it's going to be for Gordon. But for now, I think I'm going to stick with the team I have instead of going for Solanke. I just think my forward line is a little bit better. But of course, it might change before the deadline. But that's the team I'm thinking of going in the first game week with, and of course for the rest of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, ins and outs, ups and downs. So yeah, well that's the team for game week one. Now let's look at how I'm going to be lining up. So this is how I'm going to be lining up for game week one. I'm going to be having Martinez in goal against West Ham, of course, hoping for clean sheet. Pedro Porro, Trent, and Guardiola, of course, hoping for clean sheets and some attacking returns from the three of them. We have Saka, Jota, Gordon, Rogers in midfield, so assists and goals as well. The same goes for Haaland, Isaac and Wood, just goals and assists for them as well. Then the bench, Iverson, Livramento, Barco, and Wings finishing off the team there. That's the team I'm thinking about going for in game week one. Let me know in the comments how your teams are looking like and what you will change in my team. And if you want to have any questions, ask them in the comments or DM me over on Instagram. Link is down in the description. I'm very active over there. So that, if you managed to reach this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as well. And with that, I'd like to thank you all guys for watching, and I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.